Hello, my name is Tejaswini Hari. I'm a prospective first-year student and I'm answering the bicentennial scholarship prompt of how is science considered different from other answer-generating practices. Be mindful to consider the limitations of the scientific method and the role of ethics in scientific practice. First off, I believe that science is different from other answer-generating practices such as philosophy, religion, or common sense because it relies on fact, not opinion. A clear distinction between the practices is that philosophy, religion, or common sense are oftentimes based on a certain set of morals pertaining to the individual. Thus, the results of their deductions of any question are more likely to be biased. Science, on the other hand, is a principle that produces its results based on factually based evidence, knowledge that cannot be disputed based on morals, allowing for biases to be shelved. When there is a question to be answered, science doesn't allow for its evidence to be collected or observed by single instances, whereas the other practices might. Instead, it requires experimentation, constant trial and error to gather quantifiable data that allows the correlation between the result and the question to be strongly related. Scientific results are credible because through experimentation, another person can produce the same results to verify a person's claim to a question. Practices like philosophy, religion, or common sense, on the other hand, aren't as credible because they provide answers that aren't objectively verified through quantifiable or testable means. However, like everything human, science isn't completely perfect. There are limitations to the scientific method. For one, though science is a practice that aims to shelve biases, they aren't avoidable 100% of the time. There can be errors in how data is collected, how data is interpreted, and how accessible the grand scope of the experiment is. Altogether, factors like those contribute to a subconscious bias, but it's because of these limitations that peer review exists. It allows individuals of many different perspectives to come together and critique an experiment to smooth out the kinks of the bias and ensure that they don't distort the results. Equally important are the ethical constraints of how science can be practiced. First off, science is always changing with new technologies, and with that emerges different morals on how technology should be used. For example, when stem cells were discovered, they were seen as a great tool for human research, but many believe it to be unethical because they are common in embryos. It's important to acknowledge these different beliefs and not disrespect them. Also, science is a know all, see all, find all practice, meaning its inherent behavior is to test everything. But of course, this isn't possible. Why? Because when science tests, it's on a subject. A subject can be inanimate, like chemicals, but just as common are living subjects, like humans and animals. This is when ethics comes into play, because you cannot treat your living subjects as inanimate materials to test however you'd like. You have to consider their feelings, their comfort, their health, their mental outlook after testing, and much more. You have to be transparent about the experiment to a human tester through thorough debriefing, and you have to regard animals with the same respect you would give a human. A great example of scientific ethics in practice is HIPAA. If you believe a surgery would be beneficial to the patient, but the patient denies the surgery because it clashes with their morals, you can't violate their wishes. That goes against the ethics of how you can practice your scientific knowledge. Overall, science is different from other answer generating methods because it's factual and verifiable. And how you can apply this factual, verifiable practice in regards to ethics shows the true aptitude of the scientists, seeing how they can manage testing as much as they know within consideration for their subjects' being. Thank you.